writers! Today I'd like to talk a little bit about peer editing. Now, editing is the part of the writing process where we check for standard English. We're looking for things like capitalization, spelling, ending punctuation, the conventions of writing. Let's talk a little bit about how to edit with a friend.
Let's begin by imagining how this process will go, and then at the end, my sons, Sam and Jordan, will show us what it looks like.
So the first thing to do when peer editing is that we set side by side. The writer and the peer editor are shoulder to shoulder, and then the writing is in between them. Now, when we peer edit, we don't swap papers. We're just going to do one person's writing at a time, and that writing sits right between the writer and the peer editor. Now, whoever writing it is, that's the writer. And they need to have a pen in their hand the entire time that we're peer editing. Because the next thing that we're going to do is the writer is going to read aloud his or her writing, and they're going to do it slowly. It should sound like this. Now, I have a piece of my writing here. And it'll sound like and look like this. With your pen, you're going to follow along, and it'll sound like this. There are few places in this world that have the magic of a swimming hole. Do you see how I read it a little bit more slowly than what I would normally read? And I'm also using my pen to follow each line. The reason why we need to read it aloud and do it slowly is because you're going to be shocked to find there are words that you meant to write and you even thought you wrote them, but you actually didn't. And so when we read it slowly and we have a peer editor whose eyes are also on the paper, we're going to be able to catch those times where we left words. Now, as the writer is reading aloud, when you see something that doesn't look conventional, we're going to stop. Now, the writer might notice something or the peer editor. Either way, we're going to stop and then suggest what you think might need to be changed. For instance, I think that a question mark should go right here. And then have a conversation. Now, anytime two people have different ideas, like you have to have a conversation. Ultimately, though, it is the writer's decision, the person with the pen, to decide whether they're going to change it. That's the fourth part, is only the writer makes changes. Now, the peer editor may know that a word is spelled wrong, and a writer may decide they don't want to change it. That's fine. It's not the peer editor's job to make the changes. It's the writer's job to make the changes. That's why the writer has the pen in the hand. So the peer editor discusses, they can suggest things, but they don't make the changes. Only the writer makes the changes.
So I asked Sam to bring some of his writing home so that he and Jordan could model how to peer edit. To begin, notice how they're set up for peer editing. They're sitting shoulder to shoulder. Sam's writing is in between them, and Sam, the writer, has a pen. Now feel free to have your own peer editing conference there in your classroom, or watch as Sam and Jordan work together to edit Sam's story about riding in the front car of the Beast roller coaster.
We went up, 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 up. Clankety clank, clankety clank. The top was in view. Clankety clank, clankety clank. Slower, slower, higher.
Oh, wait. I think you should capitalize H on the higher, because when you start a sentence, you want to capitalize the H.
Okay. Slower, slower, higher, higher.
And not H.
Guess we should. Faster, faster.
And you could put a comma or comma right there and capitalize that. Or you could leave it like that and then have commas.
I think. Faster. Faster. Down! Screams filled the air for what seemed like an hour. I trusted this wooden coaster. I really did. Then up, up, up.
Oh,
And of course,
right here. I'm going to capitalize that.
then up, up, up. And of course, down. Up the hill, clankety clank, down.
And normally we wouldn't all peer edit all at the same time on the same day. But since this is new, we're going to give it a whirl today, and everybody will take some time to peer edit. Now remember, we're not swapping papers, but we're going to follow this process. At the end of workshop, maybe you'll have a share where you can share the things that you noticed that went well or the things that surprised you while you peer edited. Happy writing, everyone.